Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to Wobble and Jaw Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you're a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Before I get into round number 27, want to salute the New Zealand Warriors who did play their last game of season 2024 this past weekend. They've had some unbelievable moments: win, lose, draw. The loss to the Storm in round 2 with that Xavier Coates try, and then they cap it off with a Sean Johnson double cutout pass for victory to DWZ. Whilst a disappointing season for the Wars, still a really entertaining season, and thank you to them, and best of luck in retirement, Sean Johnson. Let's get stuck into round 27. Brisbane Broncos versus the Melbourne Storm. Brisbane $4.90, the Storm $1.19. Brisbane Broncos have lost Payne Haas, Xavier Willison, Brendan Piakura and Katoni Staggs for this game. Reece Walsh has been named on the reserves. Kobe Hetherington also finds his way back in to the team. And for the Melbourne Storm, they have named a full strength lineup except for Ryan Pappenhausen. Melbourne Storm 13+. West Tigers host the Parramatta Eels from Campbelltown Stadium on Friday night at 6 p.m. in the Spoon Bowl. The Tigers are $2.26. Eels are $1.64. The battle of the forward pack is pretty even, just quietly, and I think maybe even I'd give the forward pack off the interchange for the Tigers a bit more. Actually, I think I like it just a little bit more, but it is the 1 to 7 that has me worried for the West Tigers. I don't think the Tigers are going to be easy beats at all coming off the bye. Parramatta Eels, they have shown that whilst they can still score points, they have 15-minute, 20-minute lapses where they just shut down, especially in their second halves. I give the Tigers a sniff. I really want to tip the Tigers. I hope they don't get the third straight wooden spoon, but I think the Parramatta Eels will do just enough to keep the Tigers at bay, but it ain't going to be easy. This could be a cracking game. It could be the worst game of the season, but I'm going to tip the Parramatta Eels to win this game 1-12, but go Tigers. The other game on Friday night, the greatest rivalry in all of rugby league, South Sydney Rabbitohs versus the Sydney Roosters. And on Sportsbet, it's the Rabbitohs are $3.90. The Roosters are $1.26. This is emanating out at Accor Stadium. The Sydney Roosters, I feel so sorry for the players, the club, the fans, just everyone affiliated. I make no bones about the fact that I don't like Easts, but nobody deserves what happened to them this past Sunday. Awful scenes, and I hope everyone is all right mentally throughout this off season as well. But it's next man up mentality at the Roosters. They've shown it plenty of times over the past 5 or 6 seasons. Coming up against a South Sydney Rabbitohs who are now without Jack Whiten. Cody Walker still is hanging about. Beautiful scenes with Tyrone Munro last weekend against the Penrith Panthers. But coming in for the Sydney Roosters, Joseph Suaalii returns. Keary and Sandon Smith are the halves pairing, and Connor Watson starts at hooker. And there's a debutant for the Roosters this weekend, Dila Saleh Va'a. I hope I pronounced that right. And Mark Nawa-Kanatawasi has been named as jersey 20 in the reserves list for the Roosters. So an outside chance, but I doubt it. In any event, I would have been a little bit more plucky about South's chances if Jack Whiten was playing, but he's out. I'm going to tip the Sydney Roosters to win this game 1-12. Possibly even this might be a game that has a sniff about it, where it's like James Tedesco might be ruled out, not through injury, but like they might just rest him just for this weekend, just to get through finals as healthy as friggin' possible. Moving into the Saturday games, match number 1 emanates from Cogra, Dragons versus Raiders for the first time in season 2024, coming in the final round, and it is the Dragons who are $1.65 favourites. The Raiders are $2.25 outsiders, and considering the fortnight the Raiders have just had, that's not too bad value. But then again, Elliott Whitehead has been suspended. Jordan Rapana out for the rest of the year with injury. That was the last game that Whitehead and Rapana played for the Raiders last weekend in that unreal game against the Roosters. The Dragons letting finals slip through their hands big time. Severely choked in this game. Ravalawa and Couchman, Ryan Couchman, out for the Dragons, and we've got Zach Lomax, Matt Fingai. We've got Lycan King Togia playing at 5'8" alongside Ben Hunt. And then for the Canberra Raiders, Jamal Fogarty returns. We've got Josh Papali'i and Tarpany still hanging around there. Trey Mooney in jersey number 17 as well. I wish this game had a little bit more to it, but unfortunately it doesn't. It was very, very close to being a winner gets in scenario, and hoping that the other game this weekend could have made it thrilling. But I think I'm going to tip the Dragons in this one. Elliott Whitehead and Rapana is going to be a huge loss. Their defence, I think, they put their energy, they put everything into their defence last weekend. I think the Dragons will repay the Dragons faithful a little bit more, and I'll go the Dragons 1-12. Please turn down the volume. The Bulldogs versus the Cowboys at Accor Stadium at 5:30. Winner gets a home final. The loser might be away or will be away. That's the mentality it's got to be anyway. Win, you're at home. You lose, you're away. The Bulldogs are coming into the game as favourites as $1.71, and the Cowboys are $2.14 outsiders. Matt Burton is not playing. He has not been named, but Stephen Crichton is back in. That's huge. Drew Hutchison will play 5'8" this weekend. Go Cowboys. I will not yell anymore. Go Cowboys. And the last game on Super Saturday might see some very emotional scenes out at Penrith Park. The Penrith Panthers versus the Gold Coast Titans. Penrith are $1.11. Titans, they're about $6.70. And Penrith are just about full strength, close enough too. For the Titans, David Fafita is out with injury and ankle injury. And that brings in Arama Hau onto the bench in jersey number 17. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It has been maybe a decade. It has been that long since the Titans have played at Penrith. They've won a game or two at the venue, but the overall recent head-to-head record is heavily in favour of Penrith. And I think Penrith, in their what will be second last game ever at Penrith Park in its current format, will win this game 13+. And then we move into Sunday, and it's pretty easy to tell who I'll be barracking for here, just in case if North Queensland don't win on Saturday, but that's not going to be the case in any event. Manly versus Cronulla for the first time in season 2024. This is at Four Pines Park. Manly, they are $1.81 favourites. The Sharks are $2.04 outsiders, and that's with Tom Trbojevic not being named due to injury. Kola will be playing at fullback. Clayton Falalo has been named on one wing as well. And then the reserves for Manly, Tofafoa Sipley, Polo were hanging around there. And then for the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, Craig Fitzgibbon is sort of just tempered or resisted temptation of naming a full-strength Cronulla lineup. For example, Hamlin Uele, Talakai, Sam Stonestreet, they're not going to be playing this weekend. However, Ramian, Katoa, Mulatalo, they're returning back into the fold. So whilst Hamlin Uele and Talakai do miss out, it's still not a full-strength lineup. At least I don't think so anyway. But Trindle and Hines remain the halves pairing, and Atkinson has been named in jersey number 14. I think they'll be stinging a little bit, the Sharkies, letting that one slip against the Warriors last weekend. They got so much to play for here, Manly, but did they play their super final a week too early? I think this is a great opportunity for the Sharks to go to Manly and, not break a hoodoo, but they're definitely, Manly is the bogey side for Cronulla, as we all know. But wouldn't it be a great opportunity for Cronulla to do something to change it? So I'm going to go Cronulla 1-12. How about this, eh? Knights versus Dolphins, the final game in the home and away regular season, and the winner plays finals. Absolutely sensational. Newcastle $1.70, Dolphins $2.16. That's massive value on the Dolphins. The Knights, they're playing better footy over the past fortnight or so. The Dolphins, man, maybe they played their final a week too early, but we've got Jesse Bromwich, Cody Nikorima, they're back in. Kai Pearce-Paul has been named in the reserve, so he might be a late inclusion. Tyson Gamble has also been named to come off the bench. This is huge, and it's funny how I think the past 3 games, or all 3 of Knights-Dolphins clashes, have resulted in games that have finished 1-12. They've been thrillers. Kalen Ponga was indeed enormous last weekend, but I like what they did. I like what Wayne Bennett did with the Dolphins. And I think the Dolphins might just deserve to play finals a little bit more than Newcastle. I'm going to go the Dolphins to win this game 1-12.